Welcome to Planet MicroCap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me today is Mina Sooch. She's the president and CEO of Ocuphire Pharma. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is OCUP on Nasdaq. Mina, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Robert, for taking time to learn more about Ocuphire's story.
Absolutely. So this is actually our first time doing an interview together. So can you start us off with that quick overview and history of the company?
Yeah, so we're 4 years old. I founded the company actually in 2018, and I essentially brought in two fairly well-developed drug assets, Nixol and eye drop, for different indications that we suffer every day. And also I brought in an oral drug for diabetic patients for diabetic eye disease about a year or two later. And then we went public in November of 2020. And so the background on the story is that we have four indications that these two drugs are going after. And we're very late stage. The assets were mid-stage when I brought them in, and now we're continuing to advance them. And specifically Nixol, what we're trying to treat is to go after three indications. One is reverse dilation. So when you go in for an eye exam or procedure, and we can rapidly reverse that. Two is the age-related blurry near vision called presbyopia. So that's a very large part of the world and market since we all age and we'll all have this affected. And we can use an eye drop that can make your pupil smaller, but not too small, and allow you to see near in addition to far. And last but not least is actually for those that experience halos or glares at night, the same product, Nixol, could be used as an eye drop in the evening before you go to bed, and it would work all day and allow you then whenever you've got light shining at you in dim conditions to basically dial that out, whether driving or doing activities. So Nixol's actually been studied in 12 clinical trials, and we have an upcoming catalyst, which I'm sure you're going to ask me, so I'll just preempt it. So we are about to file our NDA on the first indication, that first of those three that I listed. So reversal of dilation, and that's been our guidance. And we're on track for submitting it this quarter. We haven't done it yet, but we feel very confident of that guidance. And that's Nixol. And we'll talk more about APX, but basically that's to help patients that are diabetics avoid vision loss and blindness. And we want to work at an earlier stage with an oral versus injections in the eye. So it's kind of big picture. We're out there to help lots of millions to hundreds of millions of people when you think about the diabetic population and the aging population with our two ophthalmic products.
Absolutely. So what would you say then makes your products unique and different compared to some of your peers out there, or even standard of care that's currently available?
Yeah, so actually Nixol's, there was no standard of care and no competition for any of our three indications when we first created and identified these indications. It turns out that, and still to this day, for reversal of dilation or night vision disturbance, we're the only ones doing the regulatory and the clinical work, and we will be the only approved product. And there's nothing behind us. And it's because of our unique mechanism, which I'll come back to. For presbyopia, though, Allergan AbbVie got a product approved called Vuity about a year ago now. And it is an eye drop for presbyopia. So it was in development when we started focusing on it as well. They're ahead of us. We're excited for that because they're building the category, the consumer and patient awareness, the physician practice adoption, et cetera. So there is in that case. But what's different about our drug in that case, because technically there's no competition for the others, is we work on a different muscle than everyone else that might be working, for example, on a presbyopia eye drop. It's 128 million people. It's 4 times the size of the statin opportunity. So there are multiple players working now in development, and Vuity is the first approved, but they all work on your muscle, which is in a circumference fashion around your eye to control your pupil, where we work on the dilator muscle, which is in a radial fashion around your pupil. And there's only 2 muscles that control your pupil size. So we relax or inhibit it. We're an alpha-1 blocker. And it's that uniqueness that's at the core of the product, which is very differentiated, which then gives it all these nice benefits, which is that it works for 24 hours. Everyone else is a couple hours, including Vuity. It has no headaches or brow aches because it doesn't interact with other off-target issues that happen when you work on the other muscle. It doesn't have a risk of retinal detachment. So we're really excited, and we had equal efficacy to Vuity in our phase 2 study. So we're excited about Nixol, where it needs to be competitively differentiated. And then otherwise we sort of have the market to ourselves. And it's also because of its mechanism that we kind of have those markets to ourselves. It's a safe way to reverse a dilation or to take it at night because we don't make the pupil too small. So those are kind of some of the reasons why we're excited about our 3 indications and differentiation.
Very good. And Mina, what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this?
Yeah, so I am a serial entrepreneur. Let's just start with that. I've started over 10, probably 15 companies by now, whether they're finance entities like venture capital firms, angel funds, or biotech companies. The last couple I've done on my own, but prior to that, I would always do it with other serial-minded entrepreneurs here in Michigan. I have an MBA from Harvard. I have an undergrad in chemical engineering from Wayne State here in Michigan. I'm a Michigander. In the last 20 plus years, I've been building companies, whether investing in them or starting them, taking them private to public. And I've been working in biotech pharma since 1995. I was a strategy consultant at Monitor, a similar company to McKinsey, BCG, Bain in terms of the pedigree of folks out there in Boston that created those companies. And we basically helped Upjohn become a top 10 pharmaceutical company. And we merged them with a Swedish company called Pharmacia. That later became Pharmacia. They bought Monsanto. Monsanto bought Searle, and then Pfizer bought everybody. So it's all of that is under, and then some of it got spun out over time, over the last 2 decades. So I was actually one of the first mega mergers, but I realized in my own career at that time, I was 2 years out of my MBA program, I loved pharmaceuticals. It really took a connection to my chemical engineering background, but transactions and working on products that could make a difference in lives of people that really, I've never left. And so I am a serial entrepreneur in the biotech entrepreneurial area with who sat at all places around the table. So I have a really, opportunity to think about it as an investor, but also as the operator, as well as strategic, or as other shareholders or interested parties. So yeah, thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, to close this out here today, from what you can tell us, kind of already alluded to it a little bit earlier in the interview, but what would you say then are some of the company's value catalysts that you want folks to pay attention to?
Yeah, so for Nixall, definitely filing the NDA, and then because we're a 505(b)(2), it's sort of a 10-month process. So second half of next year, we would hope, if things went well, we have a really nice benefit risk profile. And we also, it's a small molecule, so the manufacturing seems very secured and certain on our side. But we would, if that all goes well, then it could be on the market towards the later half, end of next year, and definitely full year 2024. And then we'll continue to pursue phase 3 for our presbyopia and our night vision. We already did 1 phase 3 for night vision, which was successful, but we'll do a second one, and we'll move our phase 2 work from presbyopia into phase 3. So that's going to be catalysts that'll come through in 2023 as we get to the later half of the year, because those trials are very rapid. But I didn't get to tell you about APX, and there's a big milestone or catalyst coming there as well. As soon we finished treating 103 subjects in diabetic retinopathy. It was a 2-year study. It was a 6-month endpoint. And we are poised to release that data as well shortly. Our current guidance is the 4th quarter of this year, and we're working hard on bringing that together. And that is a very disruptive readout, because today it's treated with injections, and actually even this earlier stage is left untreated. And so we would have an oral option for patients. And so that's really the big catalyst from a data readout perspective. So really both programs have some exciting catalysts. We've always been catalyst driven. We had 4 positive data readouts already this year. We had 2 last year. We went public the year before. We had 2 positive data readouts before that. So we have done 8 trials on our watch since we've been Ocuphire, and we're just going to do more trials and keep moving towards the regulatory line, and hopefully to the market ultimately to help patients with our 2 products. But thank you for asking about our upcoming catalysts. So a few for now and a few next year. So
sure thing. No, and again, thank you for your time. But so to close this out here, for more information, where can our audience go and find everything they need to know about Ocuphire Pharma?
Yeah, our website's pretty good. So www.ocuphire.com, OCUPHIRE.com. Our publications are there. All of our press releases on our data readouts. We recently did a KOL day for the APX program. That recording is on our website. We just did that on October 14th. And please take a closer look. We would love for you to learn more about Ocuphire. And if you have any questions and want to reach us, our contact information in our firm is also on our press releases.
Very good. Well, Mina, thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. I look forward to our next update.
Thank you so much, Robert.